Whoa, that's gonna be his third fight since his rebuilding. His rebuilding had a little glip there, you know. This is still the Double RT Boxing Show. This is still that hot month of February talk, folks. Thank you for finding part 2 and coming back to it. We are talking Brian Jennings still. Now, the fact that this is his third matchup since his Luis Ortiz loss, who has he built himself up with? Let's talk about this, folks, and we'll see why we are talking Brian Jennings. He is wasting a time right now. You still got Baby Miller taking advantage of it. You got Adam Nowalski doing this right now. We're talking about Adam Nowalski when we should be talking about Brian Jennings also. But this is who Brian Jennings is fighting actually. He lost against Luis Ortiz. It's okay. Check the softball. We get it. He came back and fought the Mountain Marts, the same guy Luis Ortiz knocked out at the end of the year. Tall, bald-headed white guy. That's who Brian Jennings first came back with. Okay, the guy, like I said, Daniel Martz. Everyone's knocked him out. He's a guy. He's an opponent to make you look good. Secondly, he fought Don Hainworth. And now he's going to fight this guy on a 3-fight losing streak, 3 fights in 3 years. So in 2 years, he had 5 rounds of fights. He had a second round KO of Martz and a third round of Hainworth. In 2 years, five rounds. And how are you going to get back to the elite level with that type? Give yourself some competition. Come on, Brian Jennings. I don't know, man. But moving on to the second hot month the second hot date in February, which is the February 17th. This date, I should say, is a good date, but it's not as hot as the 3rd. But we will discuss. It starts off with a 26-0 champion taking on a 9-2 title contender. Now, this is for the IBF female super flyweight. If you're not into female boxing and you have not yet chosen a resolution, it's still time. The month is not over. You can just choose it anytime you want, actually. But if you want to make a boxing resolution, you can just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to choose 1 or 2 female boxers to follow besides Katie Taylor and Clarissa Shields. Expand your boxing knowledge and let the 26-0 Deborah Dinonokis be one of your resolutions. She's the IBF female super flyweight champion. I covered her fight on the Double RT Boxing Show. She's a mover. She's a puncher. She's a boxer, I should say. She's a mover and a boxer. She's good. She's entertaining. So 26-0, she can be a nice resolution for you to get into female boxing. And then moving on to the 16th, another event, a stay busy fight, is the number 4 IBF super middleweight again. These middleweights are staying busy. They're not in the tournament because they're not that elite yet, but they're staying busy climbing that ladder. You got the number 4 IBF ranked Vincent Fitzenbutz. I mentioned him in the Rocky Fielding and Caleb Plant video in that episode. He's taking on Lingenberg for the IBF Intercontinental Super Middleweight title. Again, a stay busy fight and getting a strap to help get you into that mandatory spot. And a hell of a fight, easy, voluntary. He has a belt. It makes money, more money for everyone when you have a belt. So then also on the 17th, you have 2 United States cards, and then the second WBSS tournament. Now, we will start off with the United States cards because there's no belts on those cards. where the WBSS has 2. So we're going to save that one for later. The earlier United States card is Devin Alexander taking on Victor Ortiz. Good comeback fight for both those individuals. Both those individuals need a victory bad for their careers. You know, with Devin Alexander being ranked number 7 in the IBF, if he beats Victor Ortiz convincingly and pretty entertainingly well, I'm pretty sure he's going to get bumped up a few spots. Considering Errol Spence is about to fight his mandatory Ocampo, he's going to have a voluntary defense. And the IBF's pickings ain't heavy. You know, it's slim pickings in the IBF. Now, unless he can get a unification, but right now, it looks like Thurman ain't going to do it. Will Crawford step up and do it that fast? Possible. It's possible. But let's just say the odds are no. So, Alexander, if he wins this fight, being number 7 in the IBF, and he wins Victor Ortiz convincingly, don't be surprised if this fight lands Devin Alexander as a voluntary opponent for Errol Spence Jr. Do not be surprised. IBF is slim, and Devin Alexander is probably the best worldwide name available within the pickings. That's pretty high in the rankings. And also on that card is Caleb Plant. And I mentioned it earlier. I did an episode mentioning that super middleweight division is going to be neat and a star while the tournament is going on. And I felt it's either Caleb Plant or Rocky Fielding. Haven't seen nothing of Rocky Fielding getting a fight yet. But it's like the day after the episode aired, this news was announced about Caleb Plant, that he's fighting Porky Medina. You know, Porky Medina is coming off that bad loss against Benavides, but he's still a warrior. He's still a gamer. Caleb Plant, his knockouts have gone down, but his boxing ability has been shown even more. And forget what people want to see. What's going to get you out of the ring and home to your family feeling the best you can. That's why he's called Sweet Hands. He's not called Sweet Bomb Delivery, you know. He's Sweet Hands. He could throw some hands. So people just got, you know, caught up in his he was hitting people correctly at the right spot, but the guy is Sweet Hands. The guy is a boxer. And so this is gonna be his big test. Super middleweight, staying busy, trying to climb that ladder. And he's highly ranked. He's highly ranked in all, I believe all, well, not all of them, but he's number 6 in the IBF. And this is going to give him a clear shot, a good shot. He's number 7 in the WBA, so he's lining himself up with the champions. You know, George Groves, who is fighting the same 17th, and Eubank Jr., that WBA belt is number 7, Caleb Plant. Who knows? And he's number 6 in the IBF. And that's Caleb Truax and DeGale might get that rematch, but Caleb Plant could get that. So that is the USA Fox card. That's going to be earlier in the day. And then after that card airs, switch over with that power of that remote right there, go to Showtime, and you're going to get Danny Swift Garcia as, you know, taking his build up, his comeback fight against Bam Bam Rios. Now, Bam Bam Rios said this is not a punching bag opportunity for Garcia. We will see. You know, we will see what type of conditioning, because you can't sit there and bang with Danny Garcia. No matter how good you are, you need movement. The guy, his specialty is to sit there and bang. You know, he has a little lateral movement, enough to buy him some time, but his specialty is to sit there and bang. Bam Bam Rios thinks he could sit there and bang with them. I just don't think he has the speed. Maybe the power, but even at this stage in Bam Bam's career, does he have the power? Does he have the dedication in the gym to be in shape to match the power? Maybe at one point he had the power, but does he still train hard and dedicate himself? How is he just going to get his muscle memory power back in this one training camp? I don't know. We will see. We will see. It is boxing. You get caught on the chin. You don't need much power. You need to have some power. And Bam Bam has some power. We believe he has some power left. Now, maybe that is the headliner, but that's not Mr. A's attention-grabbing fights on that card. No, sir. No, sir. The undercard is interesting on this fight. Has, like I said, you can say, oh, then I guess Danny Garcia and Bam Bam Rios does have a nice intentions. I forgot to mention, it is the winner gets that second mandatory spot of Keith Thurman. So it has some interest. It has a little bit of ear peeking up. Like, what? What's happening? Say again? Oh, the winner gets to fight Keith Thurman? Okay, I might watch that crap. you know. But the undercard of this fight has the same potential. Pretty much the same potential. That is the second mandatory for Keith Thurman. The undercard fight, welterweight, is Ray Robinson taking on Jurgen Ugas. That is for the vacant IBF number 2 spot, Errol Spence's ladder. Because right now Errol Spence, number 1 and number 2 rungs are empty. Number 3 is Carlos Ocampos. And that's what Errol Spence mandatory is. So Ray Robinson and Jurgen Ugas, the undercard of the Danny Garcia, is fighting for that number 2 spot. That might be the voluntary. Depending on how whoever wins that fight, and impressive, it's going to be on Showtime. So if it's an impressive victory that could last in people's head, that might be Errol Spence's end of the year voluntary fight. Like I said, the chance of Errol Spence getting a unified shot is slim. So what names are going to be big for him to choose a voluntary fight? Devin Alexander, depending on how he beats Victor Ortiz, or Victor Ortiz, depends how he beats Devin Alexander. Because right now Victor Ortiz ain't ranked, but I'm pretty sure if he wins that fight, he will be ranked in the IBF. Or he could fight the eliminator victory, the Victoria, or the eliminator fight. Ray Robinson or Jurgen Ugas. Or that might just be his next mandatory. Unless we find out who that number 1 spot, that title eliminators, or that number 1 spot fight is going to be. But anyway, Ray Robinson, Jurgen Ugas is the undercard fight. Good purpose, especially considering as boxing fans, we need as much information on the Spence ladder, so we just don't kill ourselves like the rest of the others out there. We talk boxing, ready talk boxing. We don't talk boxers. We talk boxing. Now, the co-main event is a rematch, and a one that piqued my ears. David Benavides giving the rematch to Ronald Garval. I had Garval winning it slimly, but you can see it's one of those points versus power shots. It's one of those fights, just like, for instance, and you know what, I lose a lot of predictions on that. I lose a lot of predictions wrong on the points versus power, or sometimes I get knocked out on my predictions, but I lose a lot of predictions on points and power. And I was losing the Kiram and Matisse fight. I thought, even though I picked Kiram to knock Matisse out, I thought he was going to point himself to a victory. Strange stuff happened in that fight. I'll stay on the topic though. This rematch, I lost on, like I said, I lost it on points. But this fight itself, one, I want to see this fight because I think, no, actually, I picked David Benavides to win that fight, actually. But I think I just had Garval winning. That's what it was. I picked David, but I had Garval winning. Yeah, I try to think of that. I'm not too good. I'm not doing good here. I need to drink some better boxing juice or something to get my prediction value up. But what I like about this fight is the press conference, I should say. When it was the press conference when it had Danny Garcia, David Benavides, and Rios and Garval there. They were all being respectful, but when it came to David Benavides, he said, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out. People say I didn't win last time. Well, I'm going to definitely win. I'm going to knock him out. He says I only got one way. Well, this way is going to be knocking him out. You know, and Ronald's all, I learned. He didn't learn nothing. He He's just going to get knocked out. So I thought that was pretty good. I was like, oh, man. So that got my interest into that. And then that moves us on to the 24th, the third round of the WBSS tournament. Caleb Smith, the third event, I should say. Caleb Smith taking on Jurgen Berman. That's gonna be a good fight, considering that Jurgen Berman said he was Skogul's sparring partner, and being that Eric did a good movement strategy, just didn't have the power to really take Smith out. Berman has that power, but does he have the movement? We'll see that. And then on top of the 24th, you have the third and final WBSS event we just said. You have HBO's Super Fly tournament. That you have belts galore all over that. We will go deeper into that card itself, but you know, you have Siracat, the Chocolatito Stopper, the Nightmare taking on Juan Estrada, the WBC World Flyweight Championship. You have Donnie Neitz, Juan Romero. You got Brian Valora doing his comeback. Can this be the answer to his comeback rebirth? You know, since he lost to Chocolatito in 2015, he had two little fights. He lost in 2015, took all 16 off, had two fights in 17, 13 rounds he fought in the year 2017, and now he's fighting for the WBA, a vacant WBA belt. So we will see. He's for the vacant WBA, I think it's the super flyweight title. So we will see if Brian Valora can do his rebirth finalization. That would be interesting. And then after that, we end the year off in Japan. You got Daniel Roman going back to Japan for his first defense against Ryo Matsumoto for the WBA World Super Bantamweight Champion. Like I said, Daniel is going back. He won the belt in Japan. He's on a 15-fight winning streak. This is his first defense. His opponent, Ryo, is on a 4-fight winning streak. Good bantamweight action. Lower, like I said, the first half of the year, first half of the month starts off with a nice cruiserweight, slowly a nice blend of middleweights and cruiserweights, and a little female action thrown in, but the month finishes off with a nice blend of it blends into a nice lower division, and it takes us into March, and we know what March is going to bring us. So sit back, enjoy your comfy seat on the train to Boxy Happy Land. Get all your little gadgets, plug in the show of Mr.A, the Double RT Boxing Show, and enjoy that train ride, baby. Thumbs up, support the show. What show is that? The one that keeps that hotness, baby. That mysterious show that's coming out of nowhere. Ready, talk that boxing. Bring in the hits. Bringing the hits. I am Mr. A. This is the Double RT Boxing Show. Ready, talk that boxing. Appreciate all the support, guys.